Good afternoon. Sorry for the delay in getting started. The next case on the court's docket is cause number CV2104138 in the interest of Aaron Guevara and child. The case is set for a status hearing today. There is also I believe, a pending motion to substitute counsel on behalf of the alleged father Brandon Phillips and a motion for private genetic testing. That was filed by counsel for Mr. Phillips. The hearing today is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. Participating in the hearing today on behalf of the department is to engage case manager Rhonda Donahue and Supervisor Corey Jacobs. Brown County Assistant Attorney Terry Moore is representing the department in this case. The mother of the child is Kayla Pierce, and I believe Ms. Pierce is participating in the hearing now. There's an alleged father, Virgil Humberto Guevara. My understanding is his whereabouts are unknown, and he is not participating in the hearing today, and he's not been served. There is an alleged father, Brandon Phillips, who has been personally served with citation notice of suit, and Mr. Phillips is participating in the hearing today. I believe his attorney of record is Lisa Jackson Michael, who is present. Also present today is Todd Steele, who, as I understand it, is seeking to be substituted in on behalf of Mr. Phillips as attorney of record for him. The attorney ad litem for the child is Jennifer Broughton, and I'll confirm in a moment if Ms. Broughton is able to participate. I think she's been having some internet connection issues. The CASA guardian ad litem representatives for the child are Michelle Wells and Debbie Salisbury, and they are both participating in the hearing today. The current caregiver for the child is Libby Latham, a foster parent, and I believe Ms. Latham is participating in the hearing today. Let me make sure I've got everybody on my screen recognized. Also show on my screen somebody participating by phone. That's under area code 325, last three digits 046. If you're on that phone, could you identify yourself for the court, please? If you're on phone number 325, area code 325, last three digits 046, could you identify yourself, please?
Donna Pierce.
Okay. Donna Pierce, who I believe is the maternal grandmother of the child, is also participating in the hearing. The court is going to excuse from participation in the hearing today the child that's the subject of this suit. Before I proceed to other matters, I think I probably need to take up the issue of substitution of counsel, so I'll address that first. My understanding, is it Ms. Michael? Is that
yes, sir.
Okay, and Mr. Steele, my understanding is, Mr. Steele, you're seeking to be substituted in place of Ms. Michael as the attorney of record for Mr. Phillips. Is that right?
Yes, Judge, that's correct. And I had received an order on motion for substitution signed by Ms. Michael. I thought that got E5 proposed order, but I may be wrong.
There is in my file here a proposed order on that. It hadn't been signed by the court, but there is an order on the motion for substitution that provides that she would be discharged and you would be appointed as the attorney for Mr. Phillips going forward. Ms. Michael, any objection to the court granting that motion and signing that order?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Phillips, any objection to the court granting that order or signing that order, which would make Mr. Steele your attorney of record going forward in the case?
No objection, sir.
Okay. All right, then the court will grant the motion and enter an order on motion for substitution of counsel, recognizing Mr. Steele as the attorney of record for Mr. Brandon Phillips and discharging Ms. Michael from further representation or participation in the case. Ms. Michael,
Yeah.
You certainly are free to stay. You're free to go at this point.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge,
Right.
if I may, I've got Ms. Broughton on my phone and she's able to hear. So she is participating, but her internet is such that she hadn't been able to sign in.
Okay, and I know from our prior hearing that was been an issue, so I'm happy that she's able to participate. Thank you for your help in getting that to occur. All right, if we're ready to proceed, as I indicated, this is a status hearing, and there also is before the court a motion for private genetic testing proposed to take up both those matters as part of today's hearing. So if we're ready to proceed, I'm going to ask Ms. Wells, Ms. Salisbury, Ms. Donahue, Mr. Phillips, and let's see, Ms. Pierce, Kayla Pierce. If you could each raise your right hands, please. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, and if we're ready to proceed, I'm going to let Ms. Moore proceed first. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Moore.
I'll call Ms. Donahue.
Okay. All right, go ahead and proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Donahue, what is your connection to the Aaron Guevara matter?
I am the permanency case manager with To Engage.
Okay,
All right.
I'm sorry, Ms. Moore. I'm going to have to stop for a minute. It looks like Ms. Pierce internet connection.
And
is
this
not
one
working.
too.
And let me make sure that she can come back in. I have somebody joining. Maybe this will be her. All right, Kayla Pierce, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am now.
Okay, thank you. All right, before we proceed.
Sorry, I was trying to dial in. It wasn't working very well.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm sorry, Ms. Moore. Right
That's-
now. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Donahue, first of all, let's talk about Erin. She's just a couple of months old. I guess about 3 months maybe now. Is that right?
Somewhere
Okay.
around.
All right. And she's currently in a foster home.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How is that placement going so far?
Placement is good. Erin's doing great. She's bonded with the foster mom. She seems to be doing real well. I did get a call today that she's come down with RSV and is having breathing treatments, but the caregiver's staying on top of that and doing the breathing treatments and has her on a pulse ox machine to monitor her oxygen levels. So, but other than that, she's doing great, gaining weight and just sweet as can be.
Okay, good. And now she was positive for meth at birth. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Does there seem to be any, it's been 3 months since she was born. Does there seem to be any after effects that are showing at this point?
Not at this point. I believe at birth she had some issues with feeding. So the caregiver was taking her once a week to have her her weight monitored to make sure she was adequately gaining weight. And so everything seemed to be good in that area. She, at her 2-month checkup, the doctor didn't recommend for an ECI evaluation and had no concerns.
And so there's no concerns that need to be addressed as far as the placement goes. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now let's talk about mom. Has mom begun working any services?
Mom has actually completed her psychosocial. She has completed her psychological. However, she will not comply with drug testing. I have 6 times since May 14th, and she has not gone to any of those. She doesn't stay in communication with me very well. I have asked multiple times for her employment information so that I can contact them to verify. She has refused to give that to me up to this point. So other than her psychological and her psychosocial, that's pretty much the extent of the progress at this point.
Okay. Does she give you any kind of reason about why she's not complying with, let's say, the drug testing, for example?
Transportation has been an issue on a couple of points, and I have volunteered to pick her up and take her. And then she tells me she has a ride, but then doesn't show up. Work has been an issue, which was one of the reasons I need to verify that she was employed. But she hasn't given me that information to be able to verify that. So those are the only two reasons that she's given me so far.
Have you made any kind of home visits?
I have. In May, I was able to make face-to-face contact with her and actually do a walkthrough of the home. In June, I went by her house approximately 6 times, and at no point was she home or able to make contact with her while I was at the home to see, you know, if she was close by to come let me in, and to no avail. So in June, I was not able to make face-to-face contact with her.
Okay. All right. And so you're asking today with regard to the mother, you're asking that, of course, there's already an order in place for her to comply with the drug testing. Is there anything additional other than the court emphasizing that? Is there anything additional you think the court can do with regard to the drug testing?
That would be it.
Okay, all right. Let's talk for a moment about Mr. Phillips. Now, has there been DNA testing so far done on Mr. Phillips?
There has not been DNA testing to my knowledge. However, he is really on top of things and wants this done as soon as possible for obvious reasons. But to my knowledge right now, other than the order from the courts for it to be done, that's about the extent of what's happened at this point.
Okay. And now Mr. Phillips has indicated a connection, a tribal connection to, I don't remember, Apache, maybe? I don't remember which tribe. Choctaw, sorry. And so, but there's been, until we get some kind of confirmation of DNA as far as him being the father, there wouldn't be any way for there to be any kind of connection to the child, to the Choctaw tribe. Is that correct?
Correct. He did furnish me his membership card, and we have made contact or have extended contact to the tribe, but we haven't had any response yet. And I'm assuming that that would be pending paternity.
Okay. All right. And then another possible father is Humberto Guevara. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, apparently the child shares his last name. Do we know anything about where he is at all?
The child does share his last name. However, we have had no contact. I have sent notification to the mother, and I've also sent a family plan to the address that our family finder agent was able to get. I have not had any of those returned to me, but I also have not had any response from him.
Okay. All right. So today, essentially what the department is asking is that it continued to be a temporary managing conservator. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that Aaron's placement be continued and approved, that the plans and such from the family service plan, that those be made in order of the court, and the recommendations in whatever psychologicals and such, that those be made orders of the court as well. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything additional about either the child or either of the parents that you feel like the court needs to know to have a full and complete understanding of today's situation?
No, ma'am. I think you covered it.
I'm sorry, I'm not
Judge,
sure.
I'm sorry. Somebody else's screen is making noise and I can't hear the witness.
Let me see if I can mute some the folks. Okay. Let's try it again. See. Go ahead.
Anything else about either the child or any of the parents that you feel like the judge needs to be aware of today in order to make a decision?
No, ma'am. I think you covered it.
Okay. And I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Mr. Steele, I'll go to you next. Any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Donahue, Brandon Phillips has made contact with you about, setting up this genetic or this DNA testing, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're aware that I've contacted the Office of the Attorney General to see if we could speed up that process with no luck, correct?
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. Well, I'll represent to you today that I have. So with that, do you have any opposition to doing the private testing as long as Mr. Phillips is willing to pay for the cost of that to get it done?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Has a family plan of service been put into place for Mr. Phillips? Has he approved it?
Yes, sir.
Has he started working that plan?
On his own, before he received the plan, he, I believe, completed a parenting class online, and he's furnished that certificate to me. He also, we spoke briefly on June, I think the 29th, and he sent me a verification of employment with his hours and his salary listed on that as well. So he's definitely a step ahead of the game.
Okay. And you understand that once this testing comes back, if it shows that he is indeed the father of the child, that you understand that he would like to have the child placed with him, don't you?
Yes, sir.
From your standpoint, what would need to be done before the department would make that recommendation?
I would have to staff that completely with my supervisor, but obviously the things on the family plan of service that he's agreed to completing, the things that he hasn't already completed would probably need to be completed before that's the case.
Would it be possible for him to go ahead and start some of those things and work towards completion even before we get the test done?
Yes, sir. I believe so. I just received a signed copy from him, I believe yesterday or the day before. So being as he doesn't live in our area, I'm going to reach out and see what service providers we have in his area and get those started as soon as possible.
All right. Do you think you can do that pretty quickly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We also have a MHMR right here in town that can do the mental health evaluation and the psychological. Sorry, I'm grandma.
That's fine. Okay. So you say he's on top of things. Do you feel like he's at this point showing his willingness to do what it takes to get placement of his child?
Yes, sir.
Have you had him drug tested?
I have not.
Will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Let's see. Ms. Broughton, any questions?
I don't have any questions, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Moore, did you have any additional questions for Ms. Donahue?
I do not, Your Honor. I'll just ask the court to take judicial notice of the court file.
Mr. Steele, did you have any other witness you want to call?
No other witnesses. I would like to urge when the time is appropriate for our motion for testing.
Yes, sir. We'll take that up here just shortly. Ms. Broughton, any additional witnesses you have?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right. See, Ms. Pierce, anything you'd like? I'm talking to Kayla Pierce now. Ms. Pierce, anything you'd like the court to know about your position in the case or regarding the service plan? The primary issue for the court today is the service plans. The law requires the department to prepare service plans for any parent in this type of case to outline services or tasks the department would like to see them complete or undertake to address any concerns they might have if the child will return to their care. My understanding is you reviewed and signed that service plan. Do you have any objection to that service plan at this point? Ms. Pierce, I think you are muted. You could unmute your device. You may need to hit join audio if you're having a. difficulty connecting. I'll stand by for just a second. Ms. Pierce, are you able to hear us? Ms. Pierce, you may need to try to call in if you can't connect to the internet. Ms. Pierce, are you able to hear us now? Ms. Donahue, do you have a phone number for Ms. Pierce?
I do, Your Honor, but I think she's the one that you may have muted earlier. So I don't know if it may be on.
I've asked to unmute. She should be able to unmute from her device. Ms. Pierce, you able to hear us?
Your call has been forwarded.
It's being directly forwarded to a voicemail.
You might keep trying to communicate with her while with some of the other folks, and then we'll come back and see what her situation is. Ms. Wells, did you have anything y'all Casa wanted to add to the case, you and Ms. Salisbury?
No, sir, we don't have anything to add.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Moore, anything else? My understanding that the department's not objecting to the motion for private testing, and Mr. Phillips wants to arrange for that and pay for it, assuming the test results are done, or testing is done by a certified lab, and any report complies with the requirements.
That's correct, Judge. It was my understanding that it was actually ordered on June the 16th, and I'm not sure what happened. Ms. Shepherd might be able to explain. I was told that she might have some information about why that hasn't already happened, but we certainly don't have any objection as long as it's, with a reputable laboratory and such.
Thank you. All right. Let me see if Ms. Donahue's had any luck getting a hold of her.
Yes, sir. She's on speakerphone.
Okay, Ms. Pierce, I don't know if you were able to hear me earlier. The primary purpose of today's hearing is for the court to review and approve the service plans that were prepared for you by the department. That service plan is supposed to set forth tasks and services for the department to provide to you to try to address any concerns they might have if the child were back in your care. My understanding is you've reviewed that service plan and signed it. Do you have any objections to that service plan?
No, my ride situation does keep falling through, so I just from now I need a ride to the drug testing and the employment thing. I was just helping a friend, so I need to get a real job, a different job, whatever, besides that now.
Okay. Well, once the court approves the service plans for you and Mr. Phillips, they become orders of the court. So and not only is the department order to engage order to provide those services to you, but you order to comply with those, and you're already under existing orders to test. So now the department's indicated they'll may be able to help you with some transportation on testing. But just keep in mind, if you fail to test when you're requested to do so, the plans will presume the test would have been positive, and it would technically be a violation of the court's order. So you just need to be aware it's very important for you to test if and when you're requested to test.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Steele, did your client have any objection to the service plan?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, the court, hearing no objection to the service plan, will approve the service plans, find them to be reasonable and appropriate. I'm going to approve them and make them orders of the court. Court will continue the department as temporary managing conservator of the child and continue the child in the current placement at this time. Regarding the motion for private genetic testing, I'll grant that order and as provided in the order that was submitted with that. Ms. Kayla Pierce, I'm required to notify any parent in this, well, and Mr. Phillips too, I'm required to notify any parent or potential parent in this type of case that because of the nature of these proceedings, your parental custodial rights and duties to your child may be subject to restriction or even termination, in your progress under these service plans and other court orders will be reviewed at future hearings in this case. The next hearing in this case right now is set for October 14th, 2021 at 9:30. A permanency hearing and pretrial is set for February 10th, 2022 at 9. The trial is set for March 24th, 2022 at 2 p.m. And the dismissal date for this case is April 25th, 2022. Ms. Pierce, in any litigation, you have a right to retain a lawyer to represent you. If you feel the need for legal advice and cannot afford to hire a lawyer, you can make a request for a court-appointed lawyer by filing an affidavit of indigence with the Brown County District Clerk. If the court determines you do not have sufficient assets or income to hire a lawyer on your own, the court will appoint a lawyer for you at that time. All right. And this is to Ms. Donna Pierce. Ms. Pierce, you're not a party to this suit, so I can't, I know you're trying to communicate something to me. If you want to discuss with the other attorneys in the case what you have related to the court, they may be able to call you as a witness in a future hearing in this case, but I'm not authorized to allow you to address the court at this point. All right, we're adjourned from